Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Good morning, it's Sunday morning. Hello Lemonlady family, I'm your girl Tali. In case you're new here, welcome. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you're not new here but you haven't clicked in the bell button, please do it so you can be notified whenever I post a new video. I'm here with my baby girl Maggie. She's actually just come baby girl, she's just sleeping right here on the bed. Guys, look what I found. Squeeze the day, and this has everything to do with the channel. I love it. I just found it this weekend, so cheers for the weekend, for the long weekend. Labor Day. And as I mentioned recently, I'm working on some changes in the channel. So this is the first video of the Wonderful Weekends series. So take your cup of coffee or whatever drink you want or your snack and sit and let's have a talk, okay? I promised you guys that I was going to talk about my previous cancer. So I want to talk about wonderful things during the weekend because we deserve to have good news and not just, you know, be sad and sentimental about cancer and all of that. So I want to bring the cancer as a topic today, but I want to talk about it in a positive way. And I really just needed to bring this up to you guys because you've been asking me about my previous cancer. So what happened? What type of cancer was it? Which treatment did you go through? Why are you having cancer again? And all these other questions, I'm gonna get them all answered right now. So let's go. I had cancer about 2 years ago. 2 years and a little bit, okay? What type of cancer did I have? I had a rare cancer in my appendix. Yes, it's not common at all. But it happened because I guess I'm just that lucky that I have all these weird things. I've been through other procedures, other medical procedures, but I'm gonna talk about them in other separate video, okay, or videos, we'll see. But today's topic is about the previous cancer I had. So it was cancer in my appendix. And unlike some other types of cancer where you can tell there's something wrong, in the case of the breast, you feel a lump or you see a dimple on your breast, stuff like that. With my appendix, I didn't really know that I was having something until it was too late, almost, until I really had to go for a surgery right away. So what happened was I was working, okay, and I started feeling some sort of discomfort. I'm a foodie. I can eat anything at any time. Sometimes I will wake up and be like, you know what? I want to have rice and beans for breakfast. I'm this type of person that loves grocery shopping and cooking and eating, even if it's something that demands effort, that is not so easy, like just opening a bag of bagel or something. Because I'm such a foodie, I will enjoy my time cooking and, you know, taking my time in the kitchen and then eating that food and blah, blah, blah. So for me to refuse food, it's because I'm really sick. Guys, I just did chemotherapy yesterday, okay? It's been about 24 hours since I did my chemotherapy, a little bit over, maybe 26 hours. I had rice and beans for breakfast today. I'm not feeling sick at all. I'm sipping on coffee now. I'm fine. And I'm a food as usual. So for me to really not, to really just lose my appetite is because something is very, you know, out of control with me. So anyways, I noticed that I wasn't having appetite to eat at all. And I started feeling sick in a way that I didn't even know how to explain because I wasn't sneezing. I wasn't having short breath or pain anywhere. I was just like lazy, no energy. So I was supposed to be working and doing things and moving around, and I was doing it in a very lethargic way and eating less and less. So that happened for basically 2 days. The second night, if I'm not mistaken, I had a lot of fever out of a sudden during the night. I woke up with my bedding and my clothes, my pajamas, soaked in sweat, which is something I also never had. But what was going on? And also why I didn't get alarmed. I had a tonsillitis that week. So my tonsils right here, they were inflamed, and I pretty much have tonsillitis of repetition almost every year. So I wasn't worried about it. And I thought that the fever was because of the tonsillitis, even though that was extreme, but that's what I thought in the first place. Then along with the lack of appetite and the fever and feeling just tired and feeling like not doing anything, um, I started having a little bit of a pain here on the side, and I was having my period. As a girl, that red time of the month, I thought that, these are normal cramps, but they didn't go away. And I started feeling weird in a point that I had to drive somewhere. I had to get things done, and I just couldn't. I would sit on the couch because I was just saying, you know what, I'm not too good, so let me just chill here for a little bit, and then I'll go. And then I would stay on the couch for 1 hour, 2 hours, and I couldn't move. I didn't have energy to move. And that pain on the side started becoming sharper and sharper. So I went, at that time, I was not covered here in terms of medical health. I was going through an immigration limbo, which is topic for a whole bunch of new series about immigration. But anyways, I was not covered at that time, so I was avoiding going to the hospital and paying for things out of pocket. But I really had to deal with this, so I ended up going to a walk-in clinic. I actually first went to a pharmacy. I measured my blood pressure, my vital signs, and stuff like that, and everything was okay. Nobody knew what was wrong. So then I went to a walk-in clinic, and as soon as I told my situation, and the doctor examined my belly, she was like right away, "Oh, I don't know what this is, but this is bad. This is looking really bad to me. This is a small walk-in clinic. We do not have the resources for you to do imaging testing, so you need to go right away to the hospital. My advice is go right away to emergency. Don't even go back home. Don't stop to buy a coffee. Don't do absolutely anything. Go straight to emergency right now." So that was around noon. I managed to drive to the hospital, and from noon until maybe 10 p.m., I was just there waiting to see a physician, and then I saw multiple people in and out of the room and everything, discussing my case. I did imaging testings, MRI, CT scan, this type of stuff. And then they mentioned to me at 10 p.m. that same day that you have a very big mass on your appendix. Even if this was a regular appendicitis, it was not supposed to be like this. Your appendix should be maybe 2 or 3 times bigger than normal if it was a bad appendicitis. But your appendix, lady, is 7 times bigger than normal. It's about to explode. You cannot move because if you move, if you carry weight, if you do anything, this thing can explode, and there is something inside, a liquid, that can actually make you lose your life. So um, you just have to rest, and we're putting all our efforts in finding a team, to build a team to proceed with a surgery. And I'm already letting you know that this is very unusual, and as things look like in the exams and everything, this could be a bad malignant tumor. So we want you to know that this could be something else. Definitely it's not a regular appendicitis, so just be aware of that. And yeah, we are working on this now because we don't have anyone to do the surgery in this hospital. Even if it's tomorrow, we don't have enough staff, so we are looking for another hospital who can take your case. And that's it. And they left, and in a matter of half of a day, I went from being okay or almost okay. I would say in a matter of 4 days, I went from being okay to being told that you probably have a tumor or something. I mean, it was overwhelming, especially being a temporary resident in a country that is not yours. You don't have all your rights, you don't have family around. Um, yeah, at that point I was worried about my disease, but I also had these other minor worries in my head. And anyways, what happened was that I then, um, by around 2 a.m., I was transferred to another hospital in my city, a bigger hospital. So that was my first ride in an ambulance. There is always a first time, right? I felt like I was in Chicago Med or one of these series. And they transferred me. I arrived at the other hospital, and then they did the paperwork, and they put me in an apartment bed, shared with other 5 patients at around 2, 3 in the morning, and they told me that that same day at 7 I was gonna go for surgery. So that's what happened. I couldn't even sleep because I was so nervous and worried, not just about the sudden surgery, but what if there was a bad tumor, then what was going to happen next. So I was really worried about that. Plus, I told you I was not covered, so I was worrying about the bill. How much is all of this going to cost me? I don't know, but at that time I just needed to be healed first, right, and worry about the rest later. So I went for surgery. The surgery was a success. The pain was absurd after that. These are on things that you guys see, um, like carved on the sides of my belly. They were supposed to help me with pain, but to be very honest with you, it was kind of an experiment for them, and I don't feel like they helped at all. So later on I asked them to remove them, and I was on very strong medications, tramadol, morphine, and stuff like that, because they literally cut my belly in half. The reason for that is that they knew that the issue was in the appendix, and the appendix is not that big at all. But because there was a high suspicion that it was a cancer, they decided to do an exploratory surgery all over my whole abdomen to see if there was anything else that looked suspicious, so they could just remove it as well. Because sometimes the exam doesn't show everything properly, right? So there could be a little bit of a sign of something that just didn't show up in the imaging testing. So they just wanted to, since they were opening me anyways, they wanted to make sure that everything was fine. So in that surgery, they removed my whole appendix, and everybody was praying that by doing that removal, the thing would not just open up, explode inside of me during the procedure. So that was very successful. They were able to remove the whole thing, and the cancer was pretty much encapsulated inside of my appendix. And then they also removed a piece of the sacrum. I'm gonna put an image here for you guys to understand which part of my body I'm talking about. So our intestine, it's divided in sections, right? So this is the sacrum, and I removed it as a way of avoiding having any other issue, basically to give negative margins. So you know, when you go for a surgery, when you have cancer, they usually remove a bit more than what they are supposed to make sure that the cancer is not, it's not gonna recur there again. So that's why they removed it. And then during the surgery, they found a hernia from a past surgery, so they removed that as well. Okay, and then I was at the hospital for 4 days, and 4 days and a morning, yeah. And then my bill was this little amount right here, which is something I'm still dealing with because I entered up on a payment plan. And mind you that this amount was just the hospital itself, okay? Just my stay, my daily rate at the hospital, because my surgeon, the team that he had with the anesthetist. Anyways, you guys understood what I said. The people who give you anesthesia, anesthetist, something like that. Anyways, they basically didn't charge me because I told them about my situation. They understood my situation. They knew there was an emergency, and they were willing to help. I was actually desperate with the news and with how sudden everything happened, and then the bills to worry about. It was just too much. So I cried a lot actually that time, and I cried to the Lord, and I cried to the team, and I said, what can you do for me? I need help. Because if everything had been charged, I would have been charging maybe 60, 70,000 very easily, and I was trying to avoid that. So I was blessed, and I feel like this is a proper theme for me to be talking about on a wonderful weekend series, because God is good all the time, and he has been blessing me. It's not from today, it's been like this since forever, and literally from the day I was, even before I was born. I'm an adopted child. That's topic for another video as well, but I feel like God just made a plan for me, and I'm just very grateful for each little thing that I look at my life and I see his hands coming through for me, you know. And well, surgery was done, biopsy was done of all the tissues and everything they removed. So then I was on a waiting regarding what is this all about. and I stayed at a friend's house. I had a bad experience staying there. She was someone from my country who lives here in the city, and we used to hang out together every now and then, going to clubs or stuff like that. And I thought she was gonna give me a hand, but she didn't help me with absolutely anything. Not to shower, not to get dressed. I was on my period. I needed to change my pads and stuff. She didn't help me with absolutely anything. In fact, we had issues. I had to wait for the biopsy to see what was going on, and that waiting was horrifying. I believe that I've been worried about my health before, but in that moment, knowing it could be a cancer and maybe I would have to go through chemo, radiation, and all of that really scared me a lot. And I really didn't have a good time with the friend who I was staying with for those 2 weeks when I was recovering from surgery. I don't want to expose the whole situation here, but it was trouble. It was very troublesome. The person was trying to take advantage of me when I was at my lowest, basically. So it was not nice. And yeah, I just felt like I needed someone to give me a hug. I didn't have anyone to give me a hug, basically. And I felt like that was such an important part for my healing. And I was so scared of what the biopsy was going to show. So, anyways, I decided to book a last minute flight to Brazil right after my surgery. And I was still waiting for the biopsy results because they take a little time, maybe 10, 14 days. So it was December. I decided to go to Brazil last minute. I pretty much put a Christmas hat and a bow, and I went to Brazil without telling anyone. It was a surprise for my family, and I wasn't moving properly because I had just gone through surgery. So I hired a wheelchair help with the flight company, and it was amazing. I got the love of my family that helped me to heal, and they got to see me as well. My sisters, they knew what was going on, but the rest of my family, they thought I just had an appendicitis. I didn't want to scare them, and yeah, that was it. It was a short trip to Brazil. Everything was super expensive because it was a last minute flight in December for Christmas. But I got to spend Christmas with my family, and I flew back to Canada on the 31st. So I spent New Year flying back here, and I didn't have any issues to enter the country again, which was something that could have happened. So I'm grateful again that it didn't. And then yeah, that's pretty much what happened. And then another couple of days later, I got the results of my biopsy. So basically, it was a bad rare cancer, and they caught it so early, so early. The doctor explained that a bunch of the cells, they were still starting to mutate. So they sent my case to the Cancer Institute to have a second opinion, and everybody basically agreed that, you know what, for this type of cancer, for this situation, we already did all the needful. We needed to remove it completely. There are clean margins, and she's fine. We don't need to put her through anything else. So I was not advised to do chemotherapy, radiation, immunotherapy, nothing like that. The cancer was really very much in the beginning. I got lucky. It was a bad one, but I got it so early. I caught it so early that I didn't have to do anything else other than this very invasive surgery. I, up to now, have my belly a bit deformed, but I'm okay with my body image. I love myself, and I believe it's going to be the same now with the second cancer that I have. So, answering to your questions, this first cancer that I had has nothing to do with the breast cancer I have now. If they had anything related, then by analyzing my breast cancer now, they would have found digestive cells in here. If this was some sort of, what's the name? If this was any sort of spread or anything like that. So that's not the case. What I have in my breast right now is an invasive ductal carcinoma. It started in the duct of milk in my breast, and then it spread through the breast and to the armpit, the lymph nodes. So they are not related. I just got lucky or unlucky twice. But yeah, that's my story about my first cancer. So because I didn't have to go through this type of treatment that I'm doing now, I didn't lose my hair at that time. I didn't have all the side effects and all of that. The only thing I had to do was to recover slowly from this very, very invasive surgery, um, and then deal with the bills. And that was it. It was not easy. I feared for my life. But after 2 months, I would say I was fully recovered. My abdomen was pretty much okay. And that's about it. So this was my first cancer. I'm glad that I made it through these hard times. Now I'm again with cancer, and um, I'm just being glad again because I still have a long path ahead of me, but I'm doing all the needful. I'm already dealing with my chemical menopause to avoid my body from producing certain types of hormones that were feeding my cancer cells. I'm on chemotherapy. So yesterday I had my fifth chemotherapy. Well, the number 4 was just a blocker that I had because I was having COVID, so I wasn't able to have the full thing. So the doctors are calling this one my fourth chemo, but I consider the fifth. Anyways, I still have 2 more to go to finish my treatment, and then I'll go for surgery. Then I have radiation, which is going to be every day for a shorter time. And then I have immunotherapy, which is just like the chemotherapy, but it's faster. It's just one medication that I take, and then I can go home. And then I have 5 to 10 years of hormone blockers by pills. So I still have a very long road ahead of me, and that all of that without even considering a possible reconstruction because I'm gonna lose my whole breast. Unfortunately, I'm not a candidate for a lumpectomy. I'm gonna have to do a mastectomy, and I'm probably gonna opt for a reconstruction after a year and a little bit, counting from my radiation on. But these are all steps that you guys are gonna get to see little by little. And in the name of Jesus, fortunately, I'll continue bringing good news for you guys. So for this wonderful weekend, I just basically wanted to bring you this message of hope and say that if you are going through some bad things in your life right now, health wise, emotionally wise, financially wise, I just want to tell you, don't give up. Keep going. Don't leave your dreams behind. No, don't look behind. Just keep your eyes focused on the prize, on the things you want to achieve. Have patience because God's timing is different than yours. Just keep going with the flow. Do the needful. Do what you can. Pray about the things you cannot change. Pray for the things that only God can do for you, and just wait, and you're gonna see the miracle happening in your life as well. And I hope that the same way that I'm having a good time now, I hope that you guys as well. I hope you enjoy your weekend. This is the message I wanted to bring for you guys. I want to start answering to some of the questions people have been asking me. So hang in there. More videos are gonna come up soon. My next one is gonna be Munches Monday series with some yummy-licious meal for you. So stay tuned. On Monday I'll be right back, okay? Take care, guys. Love you all. Bye.